What's up guys, how's it going? Today's video is going to be a little bit different than most. If you didn't catch my Instagram, I post on my Instagram story, basically ask me any question you want and I'll answer it. I ended up getting over 100 questions, so thank you guys so much for that. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to answer all of those. I picked out the best 10 so I could give a good answer to all of those. And some of the questions were really good questions, but they're just going to take a longer time to explain. So I might actually end up doing a video on some of the questions that you guys asked. But these are the best 10 questions I found. So let's get right into it. So question number one is, what's your favorite track? If you've ever had to work with me, you'll know that I don't like most racetracks. Most racetracks today have excessively long straightaways and have corners that every single corner you can pass in, and it makes the racing really, really tough. A few tracks that I like are Miller Motorsports Park, Orlando Kart Center, and Le Mans. I know those all have pretty long straightaways, but something that sets those apart from other tracks is the fact that you can go a few corners without having a passing zone. Basically, each corner is separated by another corner that you can't really pass in, and that allows the racing to calm down quite a bit. Something that I don't like is tracks where every single corner you can pass in, and then it just creates a constant battle of everybody's blocking or everybody's doing something different, and it makes the racing really difficult and really aggressive, and there's so much contact, and it just makes it a really big challenge just to drive around the racetrack. So the tracks that I mentioned actually do a really good job at, kind of spacing everything out. You have one or two passing zones followed by a few corners where you can't really pass in, and then another passing zone, and it just allows the racing a chance to calm down and get back to a regular speed where it's just not an all-out brawl every single corner. The next question is, what age did I start karting? So I started at the age of 10, which is kind of late for most drivers. Most of the kids that I raced against started when they're 5, 6, and 7. So I kind of had a late start to most kids, but I really don't think I started that late. A lot of the stuff you learn at that young age is pretty basic stuff, just driving line, when to make a pass, and when not to. When you get older, that stuff is pretty simple and pretty easy to pick up on. Obviously, it's going to take you a little longer to get up to speed versus somebody who started earlier, but I really don't think those things are necessarily that hard to pick up on later in your career. Like I said, I started pretty late in my career and had quite a bit of success. I know people that have started even later than that and still had success. A driver under a tent named Nolan Allison only started 3 years ago, and he just won a race at the Pro Tour. So obviously it doesn't hurt you that much if you start a little later. Obviously it helps a little bit to start earlier just so you can learn those basic fundamentals of racing. But when you get older, you're smarter and it's easier to pick up on a lot of those stuff. So you can start a little bit later in your career. But yeah, I started when I was 10 years old and I've been racing for 12 years now. The next question is, what are the major differences between the Birel and the OTK? I've actually driven quite a few more chassis other than these two, but these are the two major chassis that I've had the most success on. I'll start off with the OTK because that's the kart that I'm driving right now. It's a very front positive go-kart, meaning that you drive a lot on the front tires. An issue that we normally run into when setting up the go-kart is having the back end a bit too free. Just because it pivots so well on the nose. It really does well in a high grip racetrack where there's a lot of rubber, just because once that back end grips up, you have that front to get into the corner and you're able to still turn the go-kart when the track rubber's up. Compared to the Birel, it's the complete opposite. The Birel is a very rear-driven go-kart. It has a ton of versatility, so at a high-speed track, it does really well. It also does really well in low-grip circumstances. So when you're racing on a very green racetrack, in the morning or the first couple sessions when you show up to a racetrack, it's pretty fast out the gate there. But it tends to struggle a little bit more when the rubber comes in just because it is so rear-focused that when the rear tires grip up, the front tends to understeer a little bit, and that makes it a little bit more difficult. But depending on your driving style, if you like a front-positive go-kart, OTK is definitely the one for you. If you like something with a little bit more rear, I'd definitely look into exploring the Birel and just seeing how it feels. So question number 4 is, what is it like being related to Marc Rebillet? I had no idea who this guy was, but surprisingly, this isn't the first time I've seen his face. A lot of people have told me I look like this guy. I don't see the resemblance at all. It's probably just because the mustache, but I got rid of the mustache now, so I don't think I look at all like this guy. Obviously, I need to get into DJing or making music, whatever this guy's doing, because he's doing it a lot better than me. But yeah, I don't really see the resemblance, man. Other than the mustache, I don't really think I look a lot like this guy. Question number 5 is, what is the worst accident that I've been in? So luckily, I haven't been in that many serious accidents. I've had a few where I've driven around a blind corner, flat out into somebody. Those stung, but they weren't really as bad as the one I'm about to show you. If you don't like watching these kind of things, maybe turn away, but I'm going to show you the worst accident I had, It's actually from the driver who is directly behind me. So when you're watching this, you're going to see me, entering the corner and then just kind of watch and see how things turn out. So as we're heading up to the corner, you can see right there, a driver actually drives through the track going the opposite direction. This is the Rock the Rio. It was Rotax at the time, so it's not Rock anymore, but it was at the Rio parking lot. And a driver actually drives through the barrier going the opposite direction. There I am, the 348. The driver directly in front of me took the majority of the impact, but as you can see, as we get close to the corner, I did get a cart to the face, which hurt really bad. The driver that went the opposite direction through the barrier into oncoming traffic, he was thrown out of his go-kart. He actually didn't get hurt that bad, but the driver directly in front of me got hurt pretty bad, and then I ended up getting a cart to the face. My neck got bent back pretty far, and then the driver behind me runs into me as well, like you can see there. And yeah, it hurt really bad. That's probably the only time that I've actually screamed in my helmet. I've gotten in a lot of accidents, and normally you just kind of bite your lip, it hurts, but it doesn't hurt that bad. This was one where it hurt the entire way. I felt it the entire time. I ended up getting a concussion out of it. I had a headache for a day or so afterwards. And it really didn't feel good. It probably didn't help that I rode a roller coaster the very next day waiting on my flight. Didn't really help with the whole concussion thing, but yeah, it was not a good feeling, and that was probably the worst accident I've been in. And I hope I don't get into anything like that again. The next question is, why don't you drive in Europe? So actually, I have done quite a bit of driving in Europe already. I've raced at the IME International Finals. I finished third there. I raced at the Rotax World Finals a few years ago. I was competing for the win until I got taken out. I've done a bunch of other races at the Rock International Final. I've also done some other Rotax Euro Series stuff. So I've had quite a bit of experience racing over the pond, but I haven't done it recently just because of COVID, obviously. But when it comes to like the WSK, kind of CIK, OK series, I haven't really done that just because of the politics and stuff that is involved in that series. I've seen a lot of good drivers go over there and not get the equipment that they need, and they've just not done as well as they should have. I've seen a lot of good drivers switch teams and immediately not have the results that they once had. So I've seen a lot of good drivers over there, not get paired up with the right group and then not done well. So I really don't want to go over there and not get paired up with the right group and not have a good result. Obviously, racing in the United States is all about relationships and who's your engine builder and the team and having a good flow. And so to go race at the highest level and not have a good relationship, not having a good understanding of what engine builder or what product you're actually getting is not something I really want to do. If I'm going to go over to Europe, I want to do it correctly and have a few races, where I'm with the same group, same engine builder, and I can really work something together. But until that happens, I'm not really interested in doing it. I've had a few offers, when I was with Birel to go over there and do it. And again, with OTK. But in the end, if it's not something consistent and something that I can build a relationship with a group of people, I don't really want to do it because I don't want to go over there and just run around the mid-pack and then go home and, have nothing to really show for it. So for the time being, until COVID clears up, I'm for sure not going to race in Europe. But if I can work something out, that's a little bit more long-term over there, I'll possibly do it. So backpacking off of that question, the next one is, how much do you travel? So every month, I travel about 2 weeks of the month. I'm actually away from my house. That doesn't include like the coaching I do on the side. I drive down to Miami quite often. When Ocala was still a racetrack, I went up to Ocala quite a bit and to the local track in Orlando. I do that quite often, but travel for racing, I'm gone about 2 weeks out of every month. Could be 2 different places, could be 2 weeks at the same place. Normally it's 2 weeks at the same place, but about 2 weeks out of every month, I'm gone, doing something else, traveling to a racetrack. I've gotten pretty good at the whole travel thing, so getting much more comfortable with it, but definitely, it's definitely a different lifestyle when you're gone 2 weeks out of every month. It's something you just got to get used to when you're doing this as a job. It's obviously, a difficult thing to do, and there's always races going on somewhere, so you just got to be at the races to make the money. So, you got to get used to that travel. The next question is, who's the best driver coach I've had? So I've only actually done one lead follow session in my entire karting career, and that was with Gary Carlton, and obviously he's one of the best drivers the U.S. has ever seen, and so it was really good learning from him. He gave me a lot of advice that I still use to this day, but I haven't really done much coaching outside of that. I worked with a bunch of other people. Gary Willis has been a big factor in my racing career. He's helped me learn a lot of stuff. Alex Speed, Mike Speed, There's a plethora of people that have helped me over the years. So it's hard just to say which person contributed to it the most. I've definitely had a bunch of different mentors and coaches that have helped me through my career. It's hard to call out just one of them as the best coach I've ever had. The next question is, why do I not run Shifter or KZ? So in the United States, the Shifter program is not the strongest. There's probably one series that has a really strong Shifter series, and that is the Rock Cup series. They only have about 4 national level races though the entire year. All the other races are just regional. So for me, who's kind of a national level driver, and I race the majority of just the national level races, it's hard to get a consistent series that I'll be racing in, other than just the winter, which is the first 3 races of the Rock series, and then Vegas, which is in November. There's a big portion in the middle where there's no racing, so I don't really want to get involved in something where I'm only racing a period of time, one class, and then racing the other one. The next reason of why I don't race Shifter stuff is because of sponsorships. Obviously, you know, you're sponsored to help sell something, whether it is a product, an engine, or whatever. And the majority of the stuff that is sold is the tag stuff. So when you're sponsored, the sponsor wants to sell what they sell. So they put you in the class that will market them the best, which is normally the tags. So regardless of if I want to do it, majority of the time I end up racing tag just because that's the class that the sponsor wants me to race in. And finally, the last question is, what motivates me to keep pushing forward with my ambitions? So this is a difficult question because I've won a lot of the series in the United States. It's something I really struggle with because I'm always trying to find a new goal to reach to, you know, pursue my career. For the time being, the whole car driving thing is kind of off the table, but trying to find new goals in karting is definitely a challenge. What I like to do is always try and set a goal and then just try and beat it, whether that's, you know, find 5 more coaching customers or make X amount of dollars a year or win this many races. It's always trying to set a goal and then just try and beat that. It's something that I like, you know, because competition is something that I really enjoy. So just setting high goals and then really trying to beat those goals is something that's really fun and something that's just kind of my passion. That's what I really enjoy to do. And that's what really keeps the drive to stay in the sport and keeps me, you know, energized to want to show up to the racetrack. And so that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry I couldn't answer all the questions. I'm probably going to do another one of these just to hit all the other good questions that were asked. I'm probably also going to make a bunch of videos off of some of the questions because they're really good and could use a lot further explanation than what I could give in just this short video. Comment any more questions you guys have. I'd love to hear all the questions you guys have. It's really fun interacting with you guys and being able to answer these questions. Let me know if I should do a live, if that's something you guys are interested in and want me to do. Make sure to follow me on my Instagram and on my Facebook. That's where you'll get any updates on my racing career. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you at the next one.